All right. I'm gonna go over the ground rules and introductions, and so feel free to continue to warm up during this time, and then we'll get into our flow. Welcome everyone. It's great to see everyone here. I know almost everyone's practiced. I'm excited to learn the few practices that I don't know yet, but throughout this class, please make sure that if something doesn't feel right, or if you have a question about it, even if it does feel right, ask questions. More than everything, we want to make sure that people are not going through any of this from the standpoint of guessing what should be done, because we don't want anyone to injure themselves if there's an opportunity to get greater clarification. My name's Lux, and I'm very excited to be joined again. It feels like it's been a while. To be joined again by Sam and by Chris. So thank you both. And I feel like everyone here is really fortunate to have these two brains and sets of eyes on these screens as well. So please utilize them. If there's questions, ask. The way that the communication goes between us is largely that everyone will be muted and we will do the primary dialogue. If you have questions or need clarification on something, to get our attention, cover your camera, and that makes it really easy for us to see you. We'll call your name, and then you can unmute yourself by hitting the space bar if you're on a computer, and ask your question, and then mute yourselves again during the answer. Feel free, of course, to continue to keep yourself unmuted if there's follow-up questions, and we can just have a conversation in that moment. If you would like to see that, there's two things that we find the questions are pretty consistent on, is to look at the demo again. If you would like to see the demo again, you don't need to worry about unmuting yourself or anything. Just make this symbol here, interlacing your index and your thumb with each other, and this says, show us that demo again, and then we'll just show the demo again. If you would like us to watch your next attempt, just get very close to the screen and point at your eye, and that says, hey, can you watch our next attempt? And we will. And then beyond that, mostly what we're seeking is a thumbs up for our general communication. This lets us know that the technology is working, that y'all can hear, and that there's not a lag in what we're participating in. Does that make sense, everyone? Excellent, excellent, excellent. The way the class is set up is that we're going to spend 2.5 hours through some instruction, and then we're going to open it up for an hour afterwards. If anyone still has energy to stick around, you can practice whatever you want at that point, and we will take a look at it and give feedback if you desire feedback from us. Ask questions as they relate to Acro on things that we've done or things that we haven't done. If it's within our skill set, we'll answer those questions as best we can. For the class part, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with probably about 30 to 40 minutes of I'm going to talk us through a sequence. Sam and Chris are going to be demonstrating that sequence while I talk it, and I'll be watching the screens for a few pointers here and there. But largely what we're seeking is for y'all to kind of keep track of your questions during that time. And then after we're done with the sequence, we'll open it up to questions that you have on any part of that sequence. And then we'll get into 3 different pieces that we're going to work on tonight. We'll see how much of it we get through in the 2.5 hours that we have. Maybe some of it will be done during the gym if we don't get to all of it, and maybe some of it will just be saved for next time, so we'll see what we can get through. Any questions before we begin? All right, in that we are working without spotters except for the people that are luxurious in the Boulder, Denver area, which let's all please give them a round of applause, because we respect the hell out of y'all for having a third person to be able to spot and maintain additional safety. For those of us that don't have that luxury yet, please not only be aware of your surroundings, and that if there's anything that's a hard edge or a corner of a wall or anything that's near you, that you should have some practice navigating how to get out of whatever partner position you're in to avoid that. And if you haven't done that yet, in the first few things that we do, which will just be some basic calibrations, come down to the ground a few times and just practice coming to the ground safely in your environment. And then if there are options that we're giving that feel like it's just at the edge or beyond the edge of what we're doing, without a spotter is not the time to practice that. It is a time to say, hey, when we have a spotter, let's see if we can do that thing that was just said. And until then, don't worry about it. We'll just continue to refine what we can within the safety parameters that we can create together here. Fair? Excellent, excellent, excellent. And then just so y'all know what's going on here is that you are projected on a big screen on the wall above the camera that I'm looking at. So if I'm looking directly at you, it means I can't see you. And if I want to see you, I have to look away from you for a moment. So if I'm looking here, it means I'm looking at you, and then I'll do this to look, you know, at you instead of at you. Make sense? Great. So again, if you need to do any additional movements before you get into the partner flow, please make sure that you are well warmed up. But we are going to move into this. That's perfect, pork chop. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's see. I'm going to sit on this side. No, I lied. I'm going to sit on this side. And I'll do, yeah, this should be good. Everyone can hear me, yeah? Excellent. All right, so we're going to start off in our front plank. Our front plank goes through a range of motion. And then Evan and Sarah, I'm going to talk for the next half hour, and you're going to just work for the next half hour without looking at demos. Same thing for everyone. But if you have not been a part of this yet, just know that you're not going to see any demos for the next bit. You need to listen to the words and have your body do what the words say. So a range of motion in our front plank will have a rotation to the left as much as we can, a rotation to the right as much as we can. We bend our knees deep and we extend our legs long, and we start to combine these things where we bend and extend and rotate. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Aiden and Mika, it's phenomenal to see y'all. Thanks so much for being here. Let's turn this into a side star. And in our side star, we can find more rotation by bringing a foot to the back of the shoulder blade when we're internally rotating the balancing foot. And as we're externally rotating, we can hook a calf and find a little additional external rotation. Take time and do that on each side. Charlie, Laura, and Elsa, y'all already are well practiced at navigating a 3-person and this 2-person flow. I'll just say that out loud to remind you, but you already have practice at this. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Another 5 to 10 seconds in these rotations. And let's come back to front plank. From front plank, let's go to a shoulder stand. And from shoulder stand, let's go to back plank. Now, some of these variations I'm going to call out are going to get tricky, and so pay attention to all of the words I say and make whatever modifications you need from them. Chris and Pork Chop, you ended up in a reverse back plank, and Evan and Sarah, you ended up in a reverse back plank. So let's find back plank.
Hello.
And then Pork Chop, you're unmuted. From back plank, we're going to go reverse shoulder stand to front plank. It's been a while, so we're just going to go a little slow in the beginning here, but we will get more and more complicated. So anticipate the words changing. And you're going to say, did I mean that? And I'm going to say yes, because if I said something wrong, Sam's going to tell me that I said something wrong, and I'll probably correct it before y'all catch it. Count on me for it. So from front plank, we're going to go to a reverse shoulder stand all the way back around to front plank. Front plank, reverse shoulder stand, front plank. And then if that feels a little bit funky, just continue to go front plank, shoulder stand, back plank, and then reverse shoulder stand front plank. So you can do this in multiple steps, or you can do this in one step, depending on where you're at today. And then we'll do that in the opposite direction. So we'll go front plank, reverse shoulder stand, front plank in the second direction. As long as y'all keep smiling, you're gonna do great. For those of you watching video, there are hands-free variations of these things that can always be played with. We can also add additional points of connection. And then let's go front plank with a hand-to-hand grip. And then we're going to go to back plank, and you can do this either by stepping and rotating, or you can press it through a baby hand-to-hand and then go to back plank. If you are pressing through a baby hand-to-hand, bases will keep their arms extended, flyers will bend their elbows. Yeah, excellent. From back plank, we're going to go shoulder stand to back plank. And we'll do that in each direction. Excellent, excellent, excellent. After we've done that in each direction, and Julie, and anyone else that's holding their knee, it's fine to hold your knee if you're tired and lazy and don't want to work. It's okay to hold your knee if you do want to be lazy. So up to you. You can work or you can just be lazy. From, that's even lazier. It's nice. Okay, from there, what we're going to do is flyers, I want you to take a look at your toes. Can you see your toes? Excellent. And now I want you to bring your arms overhead, but don't lose sight of your toes. Take a hand-to-hand grip and step to star. Try not to lose sight of those toes. Can you see them the whole time? From star, we're going to rotate to front plank and then back to star and back to front plank and back to star and back to front plank and back to star and back to front plank and back to star and back to front plank and back to star and back to front plank and then to star again. There are a number of ways to do this. So we can do this in things like corkscrews or boomerangs. We can do duchies. We can do meteors, a variety of different ways of going between those hips and shoulders. So be creative, play around, do a number of them. Think about essentially once you get to the shoulder that you can step in front or behind the torso to either hip with an internal or externally rotated foot, and you have a lot of variations that you can play with there. And then Danielle, are you joining us with video? There you are. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And then if everyone counted correctly, we'll meet in star. And in star, we are going to attempt to go free. If you're in a star and your arms are free, maybe we bring our legs together, flyers. And if our legs together, maybe we bring our arms up by our torso. And if our arms are up by our torso, maybe we bring our arms behind our back and we hold on to opposite hands, wrists, forearms, elbows, shoulders, whatever you can reach. And from there, flyers, we're going to bring our legs to a tuck. And from tuck, we bring our legs to a pike. And from pike, we go to straddle. And from straddle, we extend to straight. And we're going to do that a few times. So we'll go tuck, pike, straddle, straight, tuck, pike, straddle, straight. Excellent, excellent, excellent. From there, flyers, let's bring our arms out parallel to the ground to a T. Reposition if we need to. And from there, flyers, we're going to bring our right foot to our right hand. Try not to bring the hand to the foot. Really try to bring the foot to the hand. And then our left foot to our left hand after that. So we can teeter-totter. And then Laura, that's next. We are gonna then go cross. So first it was to tick-tock same side. And then after you've done that a couple of times, we'll go across and bring the left foot to the right hand and then the right foot to the left hand. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. And then, of course, we can always make modifications of this. I'm asking for things to be free, but of course we can continue to hold on to the hands or the wrists of the flyer so that we can still find stability through these ranges if instability starts to come into the practice. From there, flyers, we're going to come into our, maintaining our free star, come into a tuck. And then we're just going to extend one leg at the knee. So keep one foot in a tuck and the other leg in a pike. And then switch that back and forth between the two of them, seeing if we can do that without shifting the base's legs forward or back very much. Once we've done that a couple of times, let's bring one of those feet to the base's hand, and then the second foot to the second hand, and stand up in foot to hand. We're going to be in foot to hand for a good minute or three. So if you need chalk, please have some near you or chalk up. From our foot to hand, we're going to go extended and bent, extended and bent, extended and bent. Now, some people may want to do this with both arms at the same time, pressing. Some people might do this one arm at a time. And some people may do this just on one side, up and down, up and down, up and down. And some people may do stair steppers where we extend one, flyers will step into it, and then bend one, and then flyers step down. So almost an interpretive dance there. I like it. Stay extended longer. So a few variations of that. We have about 3 more things we're going to be doing in this foot to hand, so pace yourselves. And then flyers, if you feel like you desire it for stability, always you can hold on to the base's feet. Bases can bring their feet up for that. From there, we're going to go to extended foot to hand, and we're going to attempt to bring our flyers' heels toward each other and have them touch, and then attempt to bring the flyers' toes toward each other and touch. So an internal and an external rotation of the flyers' legs. And flyers, if you are holding onto the base's feet here, try to keep as much weight in the legs as possible, as long as your base says that that's okay, so that we are working on the balance in as few points of contact as possible. And then flyers are going to come to a squat. And flyers, in that squat, we're going to shift our weight onto one side and extend the opposite leg out. Bases continue to squeeze and extend through the side that is not with the leg extension, and then shift to the other side. Flyers will go through center, shift the weight to the second foot, and extend the other leg out. Very good. From there, flyers will bring their arms behind their back. Bases will bring their legs up. Flyers will stand and then go to star from there. Try not to let your hands touch your base's legs, flyers, if you can. Use your abdominals to find your fold into the inversion, and then work together to find the press. If you stall out, go ahead, grab those arms. Once we get up into our star, we're going to take a hand-to-hand grip. And with that hand-to-hand grip, we're going to come to a reverse front plank. From reverse front plank, if we can, the way that we're going to attempt to do this is that the flyers keep the legs together and that the flyers don't pike the hips. We're going to come back to star. Flyers, you're going to lead with the heels. Really think, if I drive through my heels and press through the arms, I can get back into star. And then let's do that again. Let's go down to our reverse front plank. And from reverse front plank, we'll then go to a reverse star. I see the spotters came into Spokane. And reverse star, we're going to hang out in for a minute. So get comfortable in your reverse stars. Make sure the feet are where you want them. And we're going to start to play with our monolimb reverse star. Monolimb reverse star generally has a pattern of, we take the inside arm off, bring it up to the hip, and then we regrip it. And then we take the outside arm off, and we bring it up to our hip, and then we regrip it, going through any other ranges of motion on the way there. We're going to spend time and do that on both sides. So play with your reverse stars, your monolimb reverse stars. Erica, nothing wrong with the straddle pike, but the more you can bring those legs together, the better. And you're cut off at the hip, so you can cheat at a certain point. I can't see what you're doing. Very nice. It's a deep squat. That's good. All right. We will find our way into a reverse star. All right, in reverse star, let's take a reverse hand-to-hand grip. In that reverse hand-to-hand grip, let's step to a reverse back plank. So bases, you're going to take one foot off, step it down to the flyer's glute behind you, and then the second foot. And when we do get to that second foot, we want to make sure that we don't have a lot of weight in the arms so that we are kind to the shoulder girdle, as that has to now go 180 degrees from overhead down to the flyer's hips. And then we're going to do that in reverse. So I really encourage flyers to get into their back bend and bring the arms overhead and then take the grip. Reverse hand-to-hand, back up to reverse star. Let's do that another time. From reverse star to reverse back plank to reverse star. Flyers, if you're feeling like you don't have a lot of push in your shoulders in that moment, ask your bases to bring the elbows to the ground. And bases, bring your elbows to the ground and you may give a little bit more space and foundation for your flyers' shoulders. Excellent, excellent, excellent. From reverse back plank, we'll all meet in a reverse back plank. Let's come to a reverse foot to hand. From reverse foot to hand, let's come to biceps and feet. Priyana and Drew, this should be facing the other direction. Come on down and step around to the base's hips and then press to your biceps and feet. Biceps and feet will then go to a croc side one. Croc side one presses through biceps and feet to croc side two. Croc side two presses through biceps and feet and then comes through the base's legs to a reverse back plank on hands. Reverse back plank on hands then goes back to biceps and feet. Let's go the way we came. So tuck back through. And then let's actually take that all the way up and over from biceps and feet to reverse back plank on hands again. And then let's reverse that. See if flyers bring their arms out to a T, bases bring the feet to the biceps, and then flyers go back into it. Flyers, I'll tell you to externally rotate your arms as you're doing that. Bring them all the way up overhead, externally rotated, and then that'll help you get back into it. Again, take notes on the things you want us to review afterwards, and you can ask questions about those things. Where are we at? Biceps and feet is where we'll all meet. How much longer should I do? 20, 30 minutes? Okay. All right, so from there, let's see if we can press from biceps and feet to reverse star without going through croc. Good, Priyanka and Drew. It's good, it's good. And then Drew, bend your knees, hold the shoulders. From reverse star, which is where we'll meet. I'm just waiting for people to get into it. We're going to take a hand-to-hand grip. With that hand-to-hand grip, let's step to a sacrum to foot. And then rotate that all the way back around to a reverse star in the same direction that we've already started. So don't go backwards once that connection point is made. Continue the rotation. Sacrum and foot back to a reverse star, hand-to-hand grip. And then let's do that in the opposite direction. Hand-to-hand grip, sacrum to foot to reverse star. Yep, hand-to-hand, hand-to-hand, hand-to-hand. Yep. It's much easier to switch it to a reverse hand-to-hand. We save that for another class. This is not that class. Oh yeah, so Sam was asked to do that again, so let's do that again in each direction. So we're gonna do that in one direction from reverse star, sacrum to foot to reverse star, maintaining a hand-to-hand grip, and then all the way back again the other direction. All right, all right, all right. Fine, we'll do fireballs. Okay, fine. So let's find our way to a back plank. That was a strange way to get there, but it works. Sarah, that was a really nice dismount. In back plank, we'll take a hand-to-hand grip. With that hand-to-hand grip, we're going to come into a baby hand-to-hand. From that baby hand-to-hand, we're going to come to a tuck sit. From that tuck sit, we're going to lift the hips to back plank. Let's do that 2 more times. Back plank, hand-to-hand, baby, hand-to-hand, to tuck sit, to back plank. After you've done that 3 times, it's like my partner always told me, anything worth doing is worth doing backwards. So after that, we're going to take the grip in an underhand grip. We're going to come to a tuck sit. From tuck sit, we're going to come to a baby hand-to-hand, and from baby hand-to-hand, we're going to extend back into back plank. Let's do that 2 more times. Fireballs, and then reverse fireballs. Good, calibrated? All right, all right. I'm hearing that people are feeling calibrated. So, at the end of your 3rd reverse fireball in your back plank, dismount as you desire, either stepping down or doing a walkover.
Projector.
We'll work on that. All right. Look like you did. Spoken like a learning base. Yes. Yeah, Danielle, that was really elegant. Très elegant. Jay, it's great to see you. Nice work, everyone. Nice work, nice work. I imagine it's been a while since any of us have done that. Been a while? It's been a while. It's been a while. They're actually like sweaty. Yeah, look at y'all. Y'all are looking nice. Looking good. Okay. So now comes the time where we can ask questions. So if there are things you would like to review, cover up your screen. I'll call you out, and then we can, and you can move that closer. And then we can look at some demos or refinements for any of those things. Any questions?
Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie?
I was basing, so I didn't really get to see how you guys did the reverse star sacrum to reverse star. It worked okay, but you know, we think we could probably clean it up a bit.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I had a specific question about exactly that. When coming down off the reverse star, which foot orientation onto the sacrum?
Exactly. That's the part we're going to cover. This is because we need to anticipate how it rotates after that. And so we want to make sure that we're not at the end of the rotation when we make that connection. Any other questions?
We're having trouble figuring out which foot to move from there. We get
Okay.
up.
Cool. All right, so reverse star, sacrum to reverse star. It's a winner. Any other things, or is that really the thing?
You folks, any questions?
Yeah.
I can't remember the stuff we did before that.
Me either. All right. Well, why don't we start there? If you think of other questions as we're going along, let us know. Want to try one?
Sure.
So starting off in the reverse star, the first thing we do is we take the hand-to-hand grip. And then that tells us which foot we're going to take off. That is going to be whichever way we're rotating, the foot that's in front of me, the one that's closer to my head, that's the one that's going to take off. And as I bring the foot to the sacrum, I'm going to do it with an externally rotated foot so that then I can continue that rotation without having to move the foot on the sacrum all the way back to the reverse star. And we can get through that entire rotation with one grip. Each place we make contact. So the foot comes off, it externally rotates, I connect with the toes first, and then the rest of the foot makes connection to the sacrum, and then that continues to rotate all the way around. And I give a elbow on the ground here so that Sam or the flyer can push strongly into that to help lift back up. You got anything you want to add, Sam?
Yeah, I'm sure there are other ways to do it, but I was finding one comfortable way for me to stag, because I'm already in a stag when I was in the sacrum, was to bring my straight leg really to the side to shift the weight onto the base's leg.
You want to shut up? And I do keep contact at the shoulders, so I never have to let go completely. Now, go ahead, Sam.
So right here, all my weight is in the sacrum leg, but if I bring this leg to the side, it shifts the weight onto the shoulder foot.
Great. That makes sense, everyone? All right, prove it. Your turn. Again, let us know if you need to see the demonstration again, or if you want us to watch you. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, your turn. generally want to look at Brianna, Danielle, and Sam a little close to me. I'll look at the ones, and then you can, of course, put our eyes wonder. Great.
Laura, Elsa. Oh, you finished. Laura, Elsa, as you start to feel comfort with that version, see if you can keep the hand-to-hand grip all the way as you press into the reverse star rather than through your reverse hand-to-hand grip.
Yeah, Priyanka, Drew, you were using a reverse hand-to-hand grip there. If you can swivel the flyer so that they can offer the hands for the hand-to-hand grip, you'll be set up for the transition. You were in a reverse hand-to-hand grip. Try to swivel the hips for a hand-to-hand grip.
Yeah.
Show me a hand-to-hand grip.
And I wouldn't worry too much about it. If it starts to get, if it starts to feel unstable in that, the reverse hand-to-hand grip is just fine. But the difference would be is that this is a hand-to-hand grip, and this would be the reverse hand-to-hand grip. And then Kayvon and Erica, one thing that's going to make that smooth out for y'all is that Kayvon, when you're taking the weight onto the sacrum, don't let go of the shoulder connection. Keep that the whole time. Let it be soft and use it as a steering mechanism. And that way, I don't think you'll stall out a few times along the way in that rotation and it won't have those staggers. It'll stay nice and smooth. So see if you can keep that connected. External rotation.
Evan, it's an external rotation on your foot on the sacrum.
Yeah, Nestor. Yeah, Evan, we'll show it again. Nestor, what you got?
No, 1 second, 1 second. Just I have a question for Sam. Try to keep your body more high, no? You don't let your legs drop, basically.
When you're lowering down into the sacrum balance?
When you are, when he receives you on the hips, on the sacrum.
Yeah, basically I'm trying to stay on the shoulder foot until I actually feel the foot on my sacrum and it starts to lower. As it lowers, I put weight into it.
But you keep like, in the connection, you keep like active that leg. You don't let it drop, basically.
Yes, yeah. Do you want to do the demo again? Or you?
Either way. You want to do it? And then Evan, Sarah, you're watching? Okay. Erica, you good? And then Evan, Sarah, do you need to see that from a different angle? Yeah, we want to see it again anyway. We turn 45 at least. Yeah.
Also, Drew and Priyanka, if you take time to set up right here for the hand-to-hand grip, sure, it's gonna make it a lot easier.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna turn you all the other way. But you can keep going, keep going, keep going.
Sorry, I never done that. You want to be what, this way?
Yeah.
And if I go in that direction?
You can go the direction you just went. I just want to be able to see the connection point. Yep.
So I'm reaching up with my toes so she knows I'm ready to catch her. I'm noticing that I don't quite have the ability to stay in contact with the flyer's shoulder like Lux does. That's something I'm still working on. But if you're just concentrating on making sure that the flyer is still nicely balanced on the sacrum foot, then it's still nice and stable.
And if you do keep that connection, as a flyer, I kind of relax my arm a little bit so that I don't overstrain my shoulder trying to keep the arm connection while that foot is pushing on my shoulder. I don't want to let go because then I might be confused about where we're going, but I just relax it a little.
And then as much as you can, really try to talk there. All right, give it another attempt or 3. And we'll move on.
And I did want to say earlier, Jay, Danielle, you had very nice leg control in terms of stacking onto the base. It was lovely. Yeah, so with a bit of hip twist, Drew, yeah, that's perfect.
All right, give it your last attempts and we'll come on in.
Nice, Jamie, Finn.
All right, come on in. Please feel invited again to interrupt as something comes to you. If you have questions, please make sure that you get them answered. Yeah, pork chop, Chris?
Yeah, I had a question back to like the flow. The reverse back plank to reverse star.
Excellent.
I feel like, you know, especially not having a spotter, I just feel like I'm diving backwards, like head first towards the ground.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at 2 things there. I'm gonna fly. Oh. Yeah. Go this way, just a hair. So we're gonna start off in our reverse back plank here. I'm not gonna take hands until I'm all the way here. And let's just say I am gonna start in a tuck and I went too far and I just come all the way to the ground that way. And that would be a great thing for everyone to just practice first. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, I is the base in that moment. I'm really resisting my hands going towards the floor. I'm pulling this way. You can see my bicep engaged because I'm continuing to give him a platform that he can push into.
And that's the important part is that it's a platform to push into, not one that pulls the carpet out from under a flyer. So I'm gonna stay in my tuck, and I went too far, and I come to the ground. And so everybody, your first couple of attempts, do that so that you do know where your exit is. Once you have that, I'm actually gonna maintain some of that same form where I'm gonna stay in a tuck. And I'm gonna push into the arms, and I'm just gonna shift to one side. One foot comes into the shoulder, I shift to there. The second foot comes to the other shoulder as it's extended. And then I can extend up. And so I know that feeling of feeling like my head is diving toward the ground in this. And in these online classes, I've been really avoiding doing things where the head is off the center line of the base without spotters. This being an advanced class is now, I'm letting that stretch a little bit with this now where the head is off center of the base. As long as we know what our exit is and we know that we can stay in a tuck, our legs are free to come to the ground, and flyers, you have the control over your legs the whole time here in that. So give that a try and see if you can do that in a way that's gonna feel nice, safe, and stable for you. We are gonna be utilizing this type of technique later on, so we do want y'all to have this one particularly under your belt. So thanks for bringing this up, Pork Chop. Yeah? 3, 2, 1. And then Priyanka and Drew, it will be facing the other direction. That's a back plank. You want to reverse back plank. And then I would actually, Drew, yep. Actually, Drew, you're going to the same direction. I want you turned around so that if this comes down, Priyanka sits in the couch. Other way. Yep, this way. Nope. Yep.
Pork chop, that was a nice dismount. If you're still worried about going over towards your head, you might even ask the base to come up on your back a little farther up, up towards the shoulders from the butt.
Yeah, that wasn't a I'm afraid thing. That was just like I literally can't arc my body over from where he was on my back.
Can I see it again from the side, pork chop, Chris?
And then pork chop, bring the knees to a tuck. That looked good.
Yeah, that was a great dismount.
Nice, Julie Nestor.
And then Chris and pork chop, you feel how you're like barely connected on the heels as that last moment is happening. Shift your contact a little bit. Make it so that when you're in that tuck, you have more purchase area.
Nice, Sarah, Evan.
For anybody that has a reverse hand-to-hand practice, you can do this through a full reverse hand-to-hand balance, bringing both feet to the shoulders at the same time. And then also on the way back down, finding your reverse hand-to-hand balance and bringing both feet to the hips at the same time. Then keep your elbows low so that Jamie's arms can get long. There we go. Better already.
Pork chop, Chris, looked excellent.
Funny, Finn and Jamie are not on Wi-Fi and their screen.
Thank you. That was super helpful.
What? That's Chris, but I'm not sure that I heard correctly what he said.
Thank you. That was super helpful. But I have an additional question.
Good.
I feel really awkward trying to get hands. How do you smoothly like go back for hands without, again, feeling like I just feel like I'm like flailing in space behind me.
All I do is I bring my arms overhead like this, and then my base finds them.
Yeah, the base can see where your hands are.
Is your base lowering his feet to get your hands and then re-extending to go into the star?
You know, it's going to be a little bit different depending on our proportions. Like if I'm working with Sam here, I'm going to keep my legs extended to make hand connection.
Yeah, you'll notice that Sam is arching and then just finding a stable, predictable position, and then the base could flex the ankles. The base could kind of come into more of a plow pose with the ankles closer to the head. The base can do the math to bring the flyer's hands right into the base's hands.
Yeah, I think I just can't. I have about 1/10 of the arch in my back that Sam has, so I just can't like get back and down and around to its hands very efficiently.
Yep.
Yeah, pork chop. I don't know if this helps at all, but I feel kind of afraid to arch back this way. Actually, I don't even really like doing that. So I tend to bring my arms low, and so then my weight is still over here as I'm arching, and then I bring it around. But if the back arch still doesn't feel safe, I don't know if that helps. Evan, did you have a question?
No. Any other questions? Nice, Kayvon and Erica. Kayvon, remember in those moments when those lowers are happening, there's not one right way to do it, but generally speaking, in most situations, the flyers are going to keep their arms straight and the base will bend their arms to lower. And it's not that the flyer can't, but do have a conversation between the two of y'all to establish who's going to bend their arms and how much. And if you're both going to do it, just know that so that there's not too much bend, which will, you know, be the accelerated collapse. So to be mindful.
Chris, pork chop, that looked beautiful.
All right. With no other questions, we will move on. I don't agree. What we would like to do next is a washing machine that we're going to use really as a calibration for another piece. It's called the meat winder. It has a strange connection point in it, and we're going to use it to find a little bit of additional rotation. We're going to start off in a front plank. Y'all want to do this one? Yeah. Or do you want me to try it? You got it? You got it. All right. And then you're good with the backs of your knees? No? Okay, cool. So we'll start off in this front plank position. We'll take a hand-to-hand grip. And with that hand-to-hand grip, we turn into our side star. And then the base is going to step to the flyer's free leg behind the knee. From there, flyers will turn upright and push through the arms to hold there. And then the flyer will take that top leg, continue twisting it around. Base will make connection with the hip, and then all the way back to front plank. So again, front plank, hand-to-hand grip, side star, top leg, flyers will bend the knee, bring it up and over. We hit this back flying position and then continue the twist around to front plank. If this is something that you've never done before, having this pose here being the most complicated part of it, actually go to the back of both of my knees, is to be in this position here, and then to be able to lift one foot off or another foot off, maybe something that you want to do just to calibrate. Once you have that calibration, let's take a look at this one last time from that hand-to-hand grip.
Also, as we're coming back into the front plank, I'm really doing quite a bit with this arm. Watch what I'm doing with my right arm. So right here, as Sam starts to rotate, I'm going to push into this structure to get her right shoulder, this shoulder, into the plank again. It's a scooping motion.
Yeah. And you see that there's this extension before that scoop, which is what maintains, or sorry, creates some rigidity through the arm line of the flyer that the base can then find the shoulder of the flyer to leverage through. And that's what we're seeking is can we create this extension? And once we have the elbow starting to extend, we can push through the arm, find the shoulder. If that elbow stays bent and we push, it may just extend the bent elbow. So make sure that we get, in this moment here, this arm goes long, and then we can push all the way through that structure and find the shoulder and the torso of the flyer. Make sense? Yes, 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 yes. All right, prove it. Let's see what you do with this one. Try it in 3, 2, 1. I love this one. Jay and Danielle, that was really nice through 90% of it. Yeah, that looked good.
And Drew and Priyanka, it's going to be the flyer's other leg, the underside of the other leg to make contact with. Yeah, it's going to be her right leg. Yep.
Good. That was great. Each time getting better. And as long as you come down with that much teeth showing, you're doing great.
Evan, Sarah, when you're in the position where the flyer is facing up and the arms are near the flyer's shoulders, pause there, and Evan, think about rotating that other, I guess in this case, your right arm down and actually rotating it so that your palm is facing up there before you go any further.
Finn, catch the back of that leg with an externally rotated foot like that next time. Externally rotated foot to the back of the leg.
Yeah, Chris and pork chop, those are looking really good. One thing that I think will help is the base allowing the flyer. You can actually pull the flyer's arm straight in order to have something to push into before rotating back into the front plank. That might help. Yeah, just like that.
And then Finn, step behind your leg, not in front of your leg. Phineas. Jamie. Hey, Finn, can you hear? No. The answer is no, they can't. But for those of you watching this video, if you're bringing your new foot behind to that, if you're stepping to the back of your flyer's leg, bring that leg behind the balancing leg, not in front.
Also, Priyanka and Drew, really quick, the flyer, if you can try getting your hands up a little more above your shoulders, I think you're going to have more success. This is really tough if you're down here as the flyer. Try to be a little more up here by the shoulders, with your hands by the shoulders.
Photo finish there, Aiden and Nika. That was great. All right, we'll give this just another minute. Let us know if you have questions on it.
Yep, and Priyanka, keep rotating. Yep. I really liked the first half of that, Priyanka, Drew. It was a really slow, controlled, strong-looking entrance into the inversion where the flyer's upside down. That was a really great improvement. This is the next thing, yeah.
No.
Yeah, we're not.
That's what I meant. That's how you were.
I want to just the twisting first. Which one is the right grade? I should obstruct you guys with the pencil. Down here.
Kayvon, Erica, that was beautiful.
Just that.
Priyanka, Drew, really nice. It's getting better every time.
All right. Come on in. If you're in the air, give it your last attempt. If you're not, come on down, come on in. All right. Any questions there? No? Okay, good.
Yeah, Jamie, Finn, can you hear us right now?
Yeah, Finn, can you hear? Thumbs up. Jamie, thumbs up. Can you hear? Okay. In that last one, every time that you were holding onto the flyer's leg, you were trying to bring the new foot with an external rotation in front of your leg, and you were getting caught here. Just step behind. Yeah. I was trying to yell at you earlier for that. Anyway, there are certain times that we find ourselves in between two different poses where we're making transitions, usually while there's some rotation and there's like multiple points of contact that feel a little bit strange and unique. And sometimes we want to really look at those moments as we can actually create poses and balances out of them. Sometimes they're going to be in strange twisted positions, and we want to look at one of those right now. It's going to be a strange twisted position, but the flyer has some mechanics that they can do to maintain some balance, and the bases are looking to see how soft we can be in our connection points while we're maintaining this structure for them.
You want to step into the ground?
Yes. You want to talk about just which parts of your body?
Yeah, so this is going to be the same kind of foot to the back of leg, which is a mono goofy reverse throne for you geeks out there, that we just did. So I'm facing away from the base. It's the closed leg, and then it's going to be the same side of my body. That's going to be shoulder blade-ish to foot.
Yeah, actually, let's stand up for a second and really look at that. Because we're used to being in this position here, right at the armpit, and we're also just fine being on the shoulder blade, but we're going to find this kind of space between, right on this edge here, and we're going to be there. And so this is going to encourage the flyer to find a twist through the torso for this balance. And so we can see in this moment how Sam has the top leg over top of the bottom leg, and that really helps because the top shoulder is slightly rotated back, so the top hip is slightly rotated forward to maintain that balance.
If I try and have my stomach facing up, it's very tippy because only one side of my body is supported. So I'm going to bring this leg over to bring my weight towards the base of the back side.
And this gives us a great ability to find a lot of range of motion here.
I'm just doing like a cross around.
So seemingly simple, actually this will be about the simplest thing we do all evening, but we do want everyone to feel like this is not an oh shit moment. This is actually a moment where we can find a little bit of rest and stability. That's going to be an opportunity where we're going to be able to regrip and push into different parts of our bodies. And so we want everyone to be comfortable with this pose. Any questions on it? Flyers, you know which side of the body you're doing? Yep. It's all going to be on the same side, back of the hamstring, and that quadrant that we talked about. Give it a shot and show it to us in 3, 2, 1.
Looking good, Julie Nestor. Looking good, Evan, Sarah. Finn and Jamie, if it's comfortable, try the actual back of the leg, like prone grip for the bottom leg.
Yeah, rather than the hip. We want to be all the way behind the knee. There we go, there we go. And then, Jamie, don't use your second leg on the foot. Just let the twist balance. Perfect. Excellent. Great. Aiden and Nika, you make this look beautiful. Great. Let's just go from there. Cool. All right. We're going to give it another moment so that our group of 3 has a chance to cycle through, but y'all look great. I don't anticipate any questions as y'all are making this look really good, but please don't hesitate, ask questions. Nice, Sarah. Very, very nice. Killing it. All right, come on in. Let's, oh, sorry, we're gonna still give Denver Boulder another moment here. Cool. Can I get a thumbs up if that was pretty straightforward with the twist? Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this same exact pose and then just figure out how we can turn this into a star. Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna reach one hand between my legs and one hand to the outside of my legs. And we're gonna push through those arms and free the foot from the armpit and then place it right at the shoulder. And then the flyer is gonna do most of the rest of the work to get into the inversion. You wanna talk it or you want me to talk it? Okay. So we're gonna take this hand-to-hand grip, we're gonna push through the arms, we're gonna place it at the shoulder, and then what's gonna happen is the flyer is gonna start to find a tuck and a curl, and we're gonna slowly shift from the back side of the hamstring to the front side of the knee in that moment to give some support as this starts to lift off. One more time. We push, we replace. I bend the knee that's at the shoulder, extend the leg that's at the knee, and the flyer's tuck is the main thing that makes this doable. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, just with the tuck and the curl, you really get a nice platform with the base's foot on the top of the flyer's thigh, and then you can really easily push yourself into stack.
Yeah. And then base flyers, remember that hand-to-hand grip that gives us the space to move from the shoulder, from the back side of the shoulder to the top side of the shoulder. That hand-to-hand grip is really useful. So use it also when you're trying to move from the back of the knee to the front of the knee. See how we can shift weight out of connection points to make slight movements in those connection points and then reuse them again to get to the next balance landmark. Make sense? All right, we're gonna find out here. But find that twisted position into a star. From that star, you can come back to your front plank if you want. Give it a shot in 3, 2, 1. Wow. You just blew the speakers.
Yeah, harmonicas.
Are you okay here? And then every single group needs to negotiate how much extension we have in our arms. Bases, if we extend too much, I know I did on one of my demos, for those of you that are gonna review this and look back through the demos, you're gonna see in one of those demos, I extended my arms so much that Sam had not enough power in their arms to really push back in. And so if we start to feel that one of us is in struggle through that, please ask for your partner to bend their elbows a little bit so that we can get more extension through our arms. Looking good. Looking real good.
Can we do
Same time? Right now? Oh, the demo? Sure.
Yeah, Aiden and Nika, can I see that one again? I mean, maybe take a sec, but.
Evan and Sarah, don't let that right arm go too wide when you're making the connection point to the shoulder. Next time you do it, really pay attention to how wide the right arm is going.
So Nika, with your left arm, reach through your legs, or yeah.
Good roll. Yeah. And then Aiden, just a little more patience. Make sure that foot has time to get to the shoulder.
Looking cute, Julie Nestor.
Excellent. Y'all are doing great. Give it another attempt or 3, and we will move on. Same thing for Chris and Pork Chop. Watch that left arm. Don't let it get too wide.
Yeah, Aiden, Nika, this one's going to be pretty tough with the base's arms low, base's elbows on the ground. This should feel a little bit like a baby hand-to-hand, I would say, for the flyer. Just kind of passing through a baby hand-to-hand. See, I can reach over a bit. So if you look at where my foot is in relation to her shoulder for star, we don't really have that far to move. All we need to do is find a grip where she can support herself through this little baby hand-to-hand right here, and then there's just a tiny movement of the foot, and then the flyer can stack. So really look for those vertical angles. Really look for the elbow right over the wrist so that the flyer can really push down into something and support your own torso weight.
We're watching.
Nice. Dave on Erica, that looked really smooth.
Yeah, already much better, Nika. Nice job, Aiden. Yeah, that's where you're going.
Yeah, and good fight, Elsa. I liked it. I liked it. It was a good fight. Yeah. Pork Chop Chris, that was good efforts. Really good efforts. All right. Nice, Aiden and Nika.
Yeah, that was
beautiful work. Beautiful work. All right, come on in. Let's look at one more point.
I just want to mention, I'm seeing basically everyone is getting stacked, and a lot of the flyers are taking their disconnected leg and bringing it straight up to get that stack, which is great. That totally works. What we were talking about in the demo is more of a stylistic choice to really get stacked through the curl, and you don't need to do it. But in your free time, if you're playing with this again, I encourage you to try it because I think it feels really good. So if you're always stacking with the free leg, try and keep the free leg down and do the stack through the curl because it's a fun feeling.
It's true. It really, it takes it from like feeling like this is the main driver to this being the main driver. And when we do it here, it does. You get this like, that like really fun centrifugal like force feeling in our torso that just, it's like that thing that you would think makes you dizzy, but just feels good. That feeling. You want to now show the rest of the piece?
Yeah. Let's do the whole thing.
Yeah. Yes, we just really have. Okay. So we'll start off in our front plank with the hand-to-hand grip. We're going to start off just like we did with the meat winder. The difference is that in this point here, I now want to bring the foot to the shoulder. Sorry. Yeah. And then find that twisted pose from there. I was talking too much during. This time, I'm going to just bring it to position. So we move to our twisted position there. There's a lot of mechanics that are going on in that moment. The most complicated of them is the flyer is going to feel like they're tilting backwards toward their head or forwards toward their head. And our job as a base is to try to make it so that they don't feel like they're tipping toward their head. So there's a number of techniques that we can use here, but essentially what we're trying to do is get the legs either long or low so that the shoulders can lift up, and that will make the flyer feel like they are more stable.
And as a flyer, you may have noticed it when we were doing the meat winder already, but in this one, it's even more important, as you want your hands really close to your shoulders. You don't want to be here. This is a big stretch for the base to get their foot to your shoulders, so keep your hands as close to your own shoulders as possible.
In an ideal world, we do not have a lot of tension in the hand-to-hand connection that is connected to the shoulder arm. We want to make sure that we are not leveraging our foot in one direction and pulling on the arm the other direction. That's very dangerous for the flyer's shoulder. So we want to make sure that as the foot is moving to that shoulder position, that the weight is coming out of the arms. The leg that is holding the flyer's leg is starting to make sure that if anything starts to go funky, that leg lowers so that the flyer comes down upright. Make sense? Bases? If not bases, let's talk about that again. So Finn, I saw a little bit of this. So what we're talking about is that if we start to move into a position where if I keep the legs high and the shoulder low, the flyer is going to feel really unstable in this moment. So I really want to shift that so that the legs start to get lower, the shoulder starts to get higher, and we can find the balance there. Best if done in one movement and not with a lot of conversation in process.
And as a safety point there, flyers, we're not working with spotters. You saw the very first one we did and that one. We didn't actually finish the rotation. Because of the height of the legs, there was a lot of tension in my shoulder. And I just didn't do anything with it. I'm protecting my own shoulder there. It is not worth hitting a trick to pull your shoulder out there. So I just kept it in and protected. If that means we can't go anywhere, so be it.
Right. It's going to limit what I can do if that's held on really tightly. And I'm listening to that as communication that says, we're not stable. Don't keep moving. And I listen to that, and then I respectfully back it into a place where we can find stability. And bases, you will also have the opportunity to have a free hand in a moment as that's starting to happen. And so if it starts to tilt back towards you, a hand to the shoulder blades and the upper back will just protect the flyer from rotating backwards. Makes sense, bases? You got all your safety measures in place? All right. We will show it again, but we're going to let everyone go and give this a try. Give it a shot in 3, 2, 1. And then, do you want to fly? Do you want to base? Do you want me to fly? Sure. On that. And then never feel shy. You can do this 1,000 times. Just keep on asking us if you want to see it again.
Yeah, I found that something that helps me with this one is I really view this as more of a foot exercise. The hand that's supporting his torso, it's really just reinforcing and being stable that he can put weight into it. I'm not maneuvering with my hand at all. That kind of ties into what Sam was talking about in terms of this being a little bit vulnerable to the shoulders and the flyers.
Nice, Jay and Danielle. Really, really nice. Just watch your shadows.
Beautiful, Julie Nestor.
Good, good, good.
Looks great, Evan, Sarah.
Very good. Priyanka and Drew, that was great. You do that 5 times and you will get there. That was great.
pork chop, Chris. That was a really nice job. If the base bends the left leg, in this case, the one that's supporting the flyer's leg, a little sooner, that's actually going to help the flyer rotate into that twisted kind of lat shoulder blade pose. So it's that left leg, the one that's supporting the flyer's leg.
Erica, that looked very nice. Perfect sacrifice.
Nice spotting, Laura, Elsa, Charlie.
Nice, nice, nice. I will give this just another minute, and then the last round is just going to be putting all of these pieces together, so everyone will have another opportunity to try this one more time. All right, Spokane, check it out. The right arm, that's the armpit you're coming to, right? All right, so that hand, I want you to just give 30% less attention to that hand so that it's not blocking off the landmark. Put more attention into your other arm, into the left hand, so that the right arm can get loose enough that we don't block off the access point, and then you shouldn't end up in the ribs, you'll end up a little bit higher. Okay? All right, give it another shot.
Charlie, Laura, Elsa. With both groups there, it looks like you're having trouble getting into that stable. The flyer is actually facing towards the side position. You're in a little bit of a tippy facing up. So Charlie, when you're making that foot placement, instead of going for the shoulder blade, really try and aim for the side lat position. That way the flyer will be able to comfortably rest on their side instead of being sort of leaning back while trying to twist to the side. Does that make sense?
All right. So give it your last attempt if you're in the air, and then we're just going to look at putting all these pieces together. Yeah, nice work, Priyanka and Drew. Really nice. Both of those last two attempts. All right, come on in. Any questions on any of these pieces so far? Shoulders feel okay? Wrists feel okay? Okay, good. Yeah, Kayvon.
Can you really quick just again show with your hand where the foot goes on the side of the, okay.
Yeah, instead of being like full on armpit or full on shoulder blade, we want that space in between, just on the lat.
Okay, so it's more right, is the arch of the foot right there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And you have some wiggle room there for sure. Between the comfort of your foot and the comfort of Erica's shoulder, y'all will negotiate with each other where to exactly place that, or loosely place that. Okay, so now, honestly, we have all these pieces. We're just going to put them all together, give you an opportunity, probably 3 to 5 minutes to give it an attempt, and we'll move to the next piece. All right, I'll redo this. No, we have to. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Ooh, tap tap.
Yep. And Rick gets us uncaught. Cool. So nothing magic about the last pieces. We already have the foundation for all of those things. I'd say the biggest thing is that we just don't bring the second foot to the second shoulder. Once we've gone into a supported monolimb star, the flyer continues the rotation at the hips and leads the base back to the front plank. Simple, yeah?
But you can also go to a star and then corkscrew back down.
Yeah. Pork chop. Chris?
For the sake of my brain, could you show that last piece independently?
Yeah. Like from the twisted position?
Yeah. Just like the dismount, the how you end.
So from here, I just leave the foot free, and we come right back to our front plank to begin again.
So this is where I was talking about my stylistic choice is to stack through my bent leg. For those of you who are not doing it that way, it might not so naturally look like that.
You gonna extend it up?
Yeah. So it might look more like going.
Yeah. Right. Which works, but it's slower rotation. No worries either way.
And if it's confusing, just put the second foot there, be in a star, and then go from star to front plank.
Yeah. Any questions? All right, well, let's see yours. Put all these pieces that you've already been practicing together, just 3 or so minutes, and we'll move to the next piece. 2, 1. Hi, Krishna.
Nice job, Jay, Danielle.
Good. Nice spinning, Jamie. Yeah, well done, well done. Erica, when you're bringing that last leg back to cave on, no pike. Keep those hips open. You'll go faster and smoother. Don't pike to come back to your front plank. Pretty sure Danielle got a point for that one, but I'm not sure. It could have been Jay's. I think Danielle got that point. Oh, all right. That one was Jay's. That one was definitely Jay's.
They're looking really good.
Yeah, get it. Get it, get it, get it. Nice work. Nice. Well done, well done. Wow. Yeah, that's better without the light on you. That was really bright. All right, give it your last attempts. We'll move on.
Pork chop and Chris, go ahead and come back to, never mind, you got it.
Yeah, none of us really like that shoulder position. We're all feeling it. Yep, we all do it. We're all in the same place. We're like, closer to the neck next time. We get it. Yep, yep, we all do it.
Yeah, pork chop, Chris, I think you'll have a little more success next time if the base tries to set up with long, extended arms for the kind of passing through that baby hand-to-hand. Right after you're leaving the lat position, if the base can really be nice and extended and stable, so the flyer can kind of pour into it and invert through the baby hand-to-hand.
I don't understand what you're saying.
So we're in this position. Right now, what I'm seeing is that Chris's elbow is pretty close to the ground. So you're trying to invert into something that's, well, something that looks kind of like that. I can tell Sam doesn't like that very much. Instead, I'm going to get up high so that the shoulder is way above my foot and she's really able to invert.
It also will make it so that the inversion happens more likely over the base's torso rather than off to the side. All right. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. A pizza pie. Suspend condition at the end. Let's do a sad star. All right. Any questions?
Oh, it's not on this version.
Any questions on that? Cool. We don't really have a name for it. We don't really have a name for this next piece either. We were just developing these the other day. That one kind of reminds us of meat winders, so we call it Winder 4 because we had I have 3 different versions of this meat winder already, so this is just like a 4th variation of it. That's as good as we got right now. This next one, we don't really have a good name for it either. We've been calling it the pizza pie just because it feels like there's some spinny stuff in it. Yeah, a little bit of that going on. So, so let's start off with this next one, training a inside star on hands. So this is the arm that is doing the balancing. You can use both arms there if you want. You can even bring one hand toward the armpit if you want. So any of these variations are going to be fine for what we're doing. But this is the primary point of support. This is the one that we want to make sure that we are focused on as the structural stabilizing position for this posture. Flyers are seeking to have the hips over the hips and the shoulders over the shoulders. So we're not seeking any kind of twist in this at this point. Any questions? I suppose most of us have played with it at some point. We just want to make sure everyone calibrates it before we transition into it. So to protect the base's wrists, let's work through this one. Any questions? All right, give it a shot. In 3, 2, 1. And then for people that are having, let's see how people get into it. If people have struggles getting into it, we'll look at some variations of getting into it. Let me try that.
I think if it were a little more straddle leg, because it makes the leg bend so heavy when you're in the needle like that. So a little closer to the straddle, a little sooner.
Yeah. Gotcha. That's fine.
I'm used to this. Yeah.
Which for our proportions works well, but
that kind of stuff would be fun too.
yeah,
I just had ankles together with this.
I just like lifting this like first.
only problem with that is there's a lot of hip rotation where if it's just a little too over, it's going to fall towards the flower's back. Yeah, it's a little dynamic too. Maybe if I try to hold things, start one more time. Yeah, I think if we have both my hands on the hip for that one, it allows you to do more balance and me to just really reinforce.
Seems like they're getting into it okay then. Looking good. Good. Flipping back to the second what's next piece? Should we take it one more step?
Just go from there.
All right, give it your last attempt and come on in. Any questions on that? Cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this balance that's an inside star on hands. We're going to rotate that to a sacrum to foot, and then we're going to continue that rotation all the way around to a reverse star. Earlier, we were practicing the reverse back plank to reverse star. This is going to be quite similar to that. So if we start off with a inside star on hands, whichever arm is balancing, we're going to pass it to the opposite leg. Externally rotated foot is how we're going to make a connection at the sacrum. And then we're going to continue that rotation around to a reverse star. Remembering, if this happens to over-rotate, our feet are available to catch us. Cool? All right, let's take a look at it again. Sacrum, reverse hand-to-hand grip, up to a reverse star. And so for that one, Chris had a hand at the armpit and at the hip. That works great as well. So any of those variations, remembering at least that the primary support is hip to hand initially, rotates sacrum to foot, and then rotates to reverse star. Flyers, for this one, our work is quite subtle. We're doing a lot of things that are on diagonal engagements, so that as we have connection at one point, it is our diagonal hip shoulder that is engaging to find additional rotation. But this one happens to be led a lot by the base. So for a lot of this, we are seeking to just make sure that we're creating points of contact that are exposed for the base so that they can make contact with the next piece. And then if there's any stall in rotation, we're doing, again, some kind of engagement between hip and opposite shoulder to aid in our bases getting a little bit more rotation.
Yeah, and I'm doing some weird things with my legs. There is no set way your legs need to be for this entire transition. So whatever feels good for you. If the base is having difficulty making some transition, think about where can you shift your weight with your legs. But it's what works for your partnership and what you think looks good.
Cool. All right. Well, any questions? Great.
Could we do that at 90 degrees?
Yeah, we can show it at 90. Go ahead, I'll look at the screen and tell you. looks good. Yeah. That work for you, pork chop? Cool. All right. Let us know if you have questions. Let us know if you need to see it again, or let us know if you want us to watch you. Give it a shot. 3, 2, 1. Oh, come on, Jay and Danielle. Come on.
The camera in the other direction. It's an external rotation. So that's a star, pork chop and Chris, and we're looking for a reverse star. Oh, okay, gotcha. Very nice, Danielle. It's nice stabilizing there.
And just in the last 5 minutes, those of us that are outdoors became very difficult to see. And then actually don't put that where I can see it, put it right next to the camera so that it shines on you. Yeah, that's better. Yep, that's good. Next time, maybe don't wear black or dark gray. She's like, underneath I have black on. And then hold on, this is a reverse. Finn and yeah, pork chop, we see you.
Yeah, Drew, Priyanka, will you watch this one as well? So this foot, my foot that's about to touch your sacrum, it's actually pointing straight up. That's going to align with the sacrum balance. I'm trying to slow it down there, but it's nice and perpendicular to her spine. And then I continued this. I went from a big external rotation to a big internal rotation. And I'm using her own frame to get my ankle rotated as internally as possible. One more time. That's talking to me. I just continue the rotation. So for those of you ending up in a star instead of a reverse star, we just need another 90 degrees of ankle rotation.
Let's give this another 30 seconds and we'll introduce the next piece. The next one with without a hand. Yeah, like from a reverse star, I actually prefer without, but in the flow, I actually really good.
Yeah, Drew, one more time.
Okay. So the initial load in, I don't know what's happening, but I'm getting a tweak like through my arm and then up into my elbow. I don't know if you could watch like the first load in part of it. See if I'm
But,
doing.
actually, I don't. If it's aggravating you, I don't need to continue to watch that. We can show you just a different way to get in.
Okay.
And then when you're not feeling it, then I'm happy to look at it again when it's not already aggravated.
Yeah, I was curious. It happened on both arms, so I don't know.
Yeah. In from the feet, so get the flyer balanced on the feet and then mounting. Yeah, exactly. 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 So if we have one foot between the legs and then one foot at the armpit, then this can lower straight down into the structure. And the hip is exposed and available.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then like send me a video on a day that you're not aggravated in the arm, and then I'm happy to take a look and diagnose that video for technique that might help that from the ground.
Porkchop, did you have a question also?
Wants to see it again.
Try to see it one more time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to move on, but we're going to show, after we show the next piece, we're going to show the whole thing, and then we can take a look at any of the details you want then, Porkchop. Is that good?
Hey, Evan, Sarah, I don't know what your camera setup looks like, but if there's any way you can take your camera in like 180 degrees so that street light is shining on you instead of behind you, you're really hard to see now.
Cool. All right, so what we're going to look at next is getting into this inside star on hands from the reverse star. Aside from the canine attacks in Spokane.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. I'm gonna do.
Let's go straight from here first. So I'm gonna start touching right at the shoulders, and I'm gonna slide down to the hip and the armpit here into our inside star on hands. And then we can, of course, continue that rotation all the way around to reverse star. And then alternatively, we can maintain a reverse hand-to-hand grip on one side, and I'll still come down to the hip on the other. And then once I get to the hip, I release the reverse hand-to-hand grip to the armpits, continue around again. Cool. If it feels like, oh, that's a lot of steps, just focus on getting from reverse star to the inside star and hands. If the pieces after that feel like I still need some time to calibrate those and I'm losing quality because I'm trying to do more things than I can do at a higher quality, do less things at a higher quality than more things sacrificing that form. Does that make sense? All right, you want to see that one more time, or are you all good? One more time, one more time, one more time. People want to see it one more time. Actually, for this one, I'm going to even elevate my hips because this takes some of the pressure off of my hips and back. And so when I start to do a lot of deep squats in a practice, I find benefit, even though I am quite mobile. This helps keep me from being too mobile.
So the flyer initiates this with the rotation. It's very similar to like the corkscrew rotation. And once I've gone the full rotation that I can, I'm going to start to feel the base of his hand on my side, and only then will I lean into it slowly so that I don't drop all the way into this hand. I'm going to slowly lean until this hand makes contact.
And base it is our job to help communicate that, because if we don't, and a flyer's just waiting for a verbal cue, it could come down harder than I want in the wrist, and I don't really care to have wrist rehabilitation. So the tactile communication, all the way starting from here, and you start to feel the hands split from each other as one hits the armpit, the other continues to find the hip. Cool. So we continue to show it with two different methods. One that's coming out of the reverse star with one hand, maintaining a reverse hand-to-hand grip and still reaching for the hip, and the other one, not worrying about the reverse hand-to-hand grip and just reaching for the armpit and the hip. If you're gonna maintain the reverse hand-to-hand grip, it is so important that we're not pulling with that grip. We wanna make sure that a push maintains the entire time. The flyer still has a very vulnerable shoulder in that moment as the twist is happening, so we wanna make sure that that is only guiding and not really driving.
And for the flyer, if you are not maintaining a hand connection, so the flyer, if you're holding onto the base's legs, your hands will move, want to slide up to the base's ankles as you do that, and you can pull there to slow yourself down. That's great.
Yeah.
When you have the one hand connection, not so easy to pull to slow yourself down, so you might want to pike more to slow down.
All right. Let us know if you want to see it again, but give it a shot in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we'll show it again, no problem. You want a base? Sure. You want a flyer?
Yeah, at least for me, I'm really allowing my squat to kind of bottom out before I start taking weight into my hand, because it just means that, as Lux mentioned earlier, it's not going to drop into my hand at all. It's just pouring into my hand because it's already nice and strong. And yeah.
The less distance mass travels, the lighter it is.
Beautiful, Julie Nestor.
Right?
Jeans are everything.
Jeans are everything. Yep, watching you.
Finn and Jamie, that's almost a reverse Bosch on hands, but we're looking for a Bosch on hands with the flyer facing the
Inside star.
inside star, yeah.
No Bosch. Yeah, Kayvon, reach behind the back for the hip, not in front. Yep, that way. And crawl up. And then Erica, twist the other direction next time. That way. Yep.
Yes.
Yep, again.
Nice job, Finn and Jamie.
Erica, bring your left. Yeah, you got it this time. Kayvon, touch the torso. Start to walk down. And that's much, much better. There we go. There we go. There we go. And Erica, one real small thing will be the tilt of your head in that last moment. If you look at your body rather than arcing the neck, if you just look down a little bit, you're going to encourage the rotation in the direction you're already going.
Evan, Sarah. Sarah, as you're coming down, you're keeping your hips pretty open, which is, something we often want to do in these start positions. In this one, you want your butt to be going backwards so that you're going into Evan's hand. So to maintain the balance, you might want to pike more to keep your hips back while still staying balanced upright. Does that make any sense? Maybe 25 or more. So Sarah, instead of staying totally vertical this whole time, think about hiking here to bring your hips back into the base's hand.
It's your right foot, Finn. Your right foot.
Nice leg work, Danielle.
Except for that, you want another 180 degrees of rotation on that. Oh, no. Yeah. All right. At this point, you're just, nah, it's weird. That's weird. Y'all are weird and I like it. I like that you're weird. Oh. Y'all want to watch it? Why don't y'all watch one, okay? Oh yeah, perfect. They want to watch again too. You want to show one? Yeah. So y'all got the lower down good to the inside star. So this part looked good. And then as we're moving to the opposite foot, it continues then to rotate around to reverse star this way. One more time. So if it's making connection in the right arm, it is the left foot that catches the sacrum with an external rotation, which sets up the right foot to enter the reverse star.
Yeah, Jay.
So if the hip's on the right, or the hand's on the right hip, it would be the left foot externally rotated that catches the sacrum and swings all the way around?
Correct. Accurate.
Okay.
KJ. KJ.
Yeah, that's a nice mental math then.
Yeah, Charlie, Anya.
Evan, Sarah, that was great. That was the right direction, the right changes to make.
So yeah, who's driving here, Charlie, Laura? Because let's have some landmarks. Laura, do you know which wall your legs are going to be facing at the end of this? I just want you to know which wall you're kicking. Okay, I'm watching. There we go. There we go. There we go. This is working better. Don't overpike that hip, Laura. As you're coming down in that last moment, open up the bottom hip. If you pike it, that's going to take Charlie's wrist with you.
It's going to be an overhead grip, pork chop. There you go.
Give this another 60 to 90 seconds.
All right, Sarah, you've got the weight shift back now with that pike. Once the hand is making connection, that's where you're gonna wanna open it up so that there's actually room for the hand to go. Does that make sense? So you're piking as you lower down to bring your hips towards the base of his hand. And as the hand approaches that hip, then you wanna open the leg so that there's actually room for the hand to fit. So you've got the pike down, now open the leg.
Yeah, if you maintain that pike, you're going to potentially damage Evan's wrist.
Or give him nowhere to go.
All right. Did we do this whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
15 minutes of commission.
Right. Exactly.
Should walk away. You sick of this?
All right. All right. All right. All right. And then, yeah, kind of the same thing. Elsa, Laura, Charlie, is really just using the room for landmarks to know which way different parts of your body are going to end up in this last, during these rotations, especially ones that are twisting backwards blindly. Is just to know, like, my feet are going to kick that wall over there or that wall over there, and just to have that mapped out before we go. All right. Come on in.
I'm ready for ghost stories from Jamie and Finn. Evidence there.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And then, yeah, let's not forget it is already midnight for our Floridians.
That's impressive.
I know, I know. All right, that looked good. This is, you know, complicated work. Any questions? Bases, how are your wrists? Yeah. This is one of those that we really want to have a good understanding of that side star on hands in and out so that we know our entrances and exits from it. To really, flyers, this is for us, to really preserve our base's wrists. We want to make sure that each time that that hip is being held by that hand, how can we open that hip to a place where we are keeping the base's wrist as neutral as possible. And that's not something that ever has an end to it. That's something that we're constantly honing. Just knowing how much hip opening to give and how much rotation from the top hip to make it so that we have a method to not damage the base's wrist. So that's the thing that we're at this point really not gonna stick with the name pizza pie, but we're calling it the pizza pie because it kind of has this rotation down, rotation back up, rotation down, rotation back up, and it just kind of had this feeling of like, oh, we're spinning a pizza pie. All right, so maybe we should do something that is a little bit more challenging, some stronger balances, and we'll finish off our practice today that way. What we're going to work on right now is just a shoulder stand, where the flyer is going to bring one arm up to their hip and bring that arm back down, and the second arm up to the hip and bring that back down. And we just want to make one little shift to that exercise that we do quite regularly, which is that as we bring one arm up, we want to slightly lean onto the hand that is still being held. And then bring it back down, and then slightly lean onto that one as we're releasing the opposite arm. So we're working toward monolimb balances, but we don't have to hold all of the weight in just one arm. For those of you that have monolimb balance practices, you're certainly welcome to practice them. For those of you that don't yet, don't worry about it. That's not our entire focus for what we're doing right now. But yeah, that'll work. So being in a shoulder stand, flyer lifting one arm up and then slightly leaning to the opposite arm, moving toward the idea of a monolimb, and then back down, and then to the other side. And am I right for this one that we want a slight straddle? Is this the one that we want the straddle in? This is not that one, okay.
It's easier.
It is easier with a bit of a straddle, so certainly we invite you to work in a straddle here. We do want you to avoid a straddle pipe, so there is a difference between a straddle that we don't want. If it's going to be a straddle, let it be an open straddle. If you want to do it in a straight body position, do it in a straight body position. Cool? If your wrists are really tired, flyers can train this in a reverse star. So whichever works for you. Ideally in a shoulder stand, but check in with yourselves, see what works best for you, either a shoulder stand or a reverse star. Cool? All right, give it a shot in 3, 2, 1.
Some kind of long balance.
Alright, so I'm not even the same. I mean, I am, but I'm not completely forgetful. Let's see. Basement. What's the next piece? Nice, Sarah. Nice, Evan. All right. We'll give it just another moment, and then we'll look at the next piece. All right, all right, all right. Come on in, come on in, come on in. One day I'm going to be able to breathe easy watching you, Aiden and Nika. That day is not yet. I respect your practice, but
Tenacity,
though. Okay, how'd that go? Decent enough? All right. So the next piece that we're going to do is going to feel Herculean for bases. But the truth is that the flyers make this easy.
Or not.
Or I should say, the flyers have an opportunity to make this easy. And so the parts that we want you to focus a lot on are, from the bases perspective, is really just knowing your landmarks and making sure that we're not playing too much with the areas in between. This is one where different than normal. Normal, I'm like, look at all of the gray, live your life in all of the gray. And this one, I'm a little bit more toward the edges of the black and white, really looking at, am I in a 90-90 and not really playing too much with the angles in between for very long, because I am going to find greater stability if I get this rotation sooner. For the flyers, it is about where we put pressure into the base's arms that's going to make this a whole bunch easier. And that's the part that we really want to pay attention a lot on. Not until the prop, just to this 90 piece. 1 second. Just go to the door. So we're in the shoulder stand. Actually, can we shift here a little bit? I just want to read here. Okay. I'm gonna just lift my knee a little, or lift my hip a little bit. This helps reinforce the musculature in my arm. From there, Sam's gonna lean into that side, and I'm gonna free the one arm, and Sam's really gonna help bring it across to the biceps on the other side. And I'm externally rotating my arm as I'm bringing it across, but Sam is pushing down through my shoulder, and that's really helping a good amount. That hurt. So this arm that's pushing into my shoulder, this is really helping a lot to make this stable. Go ahead, come on down. Awesome work.
Yeah.
So here I am stuck in a shoulder stand. Sam leans onto one side and this arm gets free, and I'm taking it and I'm turning it this way to the biceps. Bringing it across is not easy, but Sam is pushing down through this elbow with the arm, and that's helping bring it across to her own biceps. From there, pushing down through the shoulder really helps find the rotation. We're going to show it again, and I just want everyone to really look at how the leverage between the two of us is how this works. I can't muscle, I'm not strong enough yet to muscle through this, and you're strong enough yet to just muscle through this one?
No.
Not yet, not yet.
Can we do one where my feet are on the ground and I can talk from there?
Sure, yeah.
Face it so that
She literally just did, just saying.
Say again?
she said I literally
She just did. She just did.
maybe so my body isn't blocking the arms.
Like this?
Yeah. Okay, so when we're in this shoulder stand, I'm gonna shift to this arm as much weight as I can. And then as Lux takes his hand off,
Yeah.
I am keeping my hand on this elbow.
And helping. She's really bringing it across even.
And as he gets close, I'm gonna release this hand so that there's space for him just at the last moment. So then I can come here and I slide this hand down into the shoulder to help stabilize. And then I am going to rotate my hips to face this wall. And I'm gonna try and keep my weight here the whole time. This is stabilizing, but the base is not in a position to take weight until they're actually at 90 degrees. So I'm going to keep my weight here and really think about my landmark of I want my hips facing that wall.
On the second. And then Chris, can you watch us in the monitor and just see if our landmarks are visible? I don't like my position again. I'm not getting close enough to the torso to this side. That's fine. So we push. Sam helps bring that over, make a connection at the biceps, find the rotation, helping push down through the shoulder.
And Sam, I don't know if you can tell, but Sam's perpendicular to Lux right now. Sam's chest is facing this way, Lux is oriented this way, which is important.
So this is really difficult. And if this is not something that feels like it's going to be great for you right now,
2.5 hours into class.
Don't worry about it. We are also at the very end of class, so we're going to give everyone an opportunity to play with this transition. Can I fly this on you on legs? So we'll start off quite similarly in a reverse star, just as if we were in a shoulder stand. From there, I'm going to shift to one side, and we're going to come across to the biceps on this same arm. I'm going to release and hold the calf, and I'm going to turn to 90 degrees. And so if the arms don't want to train this right now, and the flyer still does, the legs can do it. So whatever feels right for you right now. I know that for some of us, this is 2.5 hours in, and it's time to say goodnight, and that's fine. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish class now. I'm going to say, because this is a recorded video and people are going to be doing the class part in the future, I'm going to wrap up the class and say thank you and goodbye to everyone there. For those of us that want to stick around and train for the next up to an hour, you're welcome to do so. But I'm not going to release that as part of the recording. That's just for us. So the class section will end, and I'm just going to give the wrap up to say, hey, thanks all for being here. This was a phenomenal time, and really glad to see not only that everyone worked really hard and came down in puddles of sweat, and everyone is going to have phenomenally sore muscles over the next few days, but it really was. I hope the people that are home are practicing with just as much kindness as everyone that was in this space at the same time. The number of teeth that I saw through the smiles throughout the practice today was almost a record breaker. It really was. It's very pretty. It's very as an aesthetic smile, everyone. But I do encourage, if you are on screen here with us, please turn to grid view and take a look at the people that you share the room with. And everyone really did such a phenomenal job tonight. I do want to thank everyone for working so hard, so diligently, and also just supporting this project, supporting myself, supporting Sam, supporting Chris for this effort. So thank you all so much. Throughout the week, or throughout the weeks between these classes, we will continue to do them monthly, but in between, please reach out, let us know if you have questions, send videos with questions, or just write out a question and we'll give an answer. So please just stay in touch. Let us know how we can support your practice between these classes. And we're really grateful to have you here. So if you know of other people that are at a level that want to do this type of practice, please encourage them to participate in the coming months. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you all so much.